Married like 4 years ago. Moved down to Florida.
All right, we are all set here. Minute and a half. Huh, that's cool. Check 1 2, check 1 2, audio check. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be with you in just a moment. Thank you for joining us, everyone. In just a moment while I finish up the old setup here. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Ooh, get my local sound up too high. All right, as I like to say, let's get this show started.
Most of you know that crypto exchanges have taken a beating about transparency, and many groups out there are trying to solve that. But Auditchain has already done that. Auditchain's protocols and network of validators can mathematically prove that a company's entire financial state.
I had my playlist on here. Anyway, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro, yes, I have a disclaimer that will run when you're talking. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here on the DYOR Media Network. It is August 8th, 2023. And once again, yes, I did have to look at my notes to know what the day is. When I start these shows, my mind goes into show mode, and I forget what day it is. Anyway, we're so glad to have you here again. We've been coming at you all summer here with shows, bringing you good content, bringing you some fun content, and bringing you a little bit of lousy content, too. But as usual, no matter what's going on with the show here, we're having good content. We'll have good discussion. And we'll bring you some interesting topics that hopefully you will learn a little bit about. Today's show, as always, I like to say we got a good show. It's been an interesting week in crypto, and that interesting week on a Monday morning brings us to our Tuesday morning show, in which we learn that PayPal, that's right, the payment service that no one's really talked about for the past couple of years, it comes out and says, hey, we want to get back in the game and have a stablecoin. That's right, a stablecoin. Anyway, they talk about it being backed by the dollar. We'll get to that and talk to that too. And of course, as usual, we have my co-host here and a crypto chart extraordinaire, Pedro Garcia. Usually I like to say we're going to have Cinco de Pedro, but lately it's been 20 de Pedro, 30 de Pedro. We've had Pedro's been on a lot more because I haven't had a lot of good guests or any guests. But anyway, Pedro, welcome. What's happening in your part of the world?
Yeah, man, it's been really fun. Life has been good. Life has been really good. Been looking to kind of move around and check out some places around the world. So I've been trying to kind of just, like you're kind of hopping around and you're getting ready, to leave France and stuff like that. But it's still one of those things that you're,
Yep.
You know how that is, so yeah.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling about that, and I know that there's always, if you live somewhere and you don't want to pay as much tax or live with a bunch of morons, there's always a better place in the world to live that has just as many morons but might have lower tax.
That is exactly what it is. Exactly. So, jumping back, excuse me. Apologize about that. The air quality where I'm at right now, it's been as good as. It's been a lot of rain over here, but it's just not been I don't know. It's weird. So let's jump right into it. So Bitcoin has been really being very interesting. The primary reason why is watching it. It is, I don't, like I said, I don't understand why we are not dropping here. Last few days, last week we did do a bit of a sell-off. We hit the zone that I spoke about, but there really isn't much here in these candles of it dropping. So
Oop, hold on a sec. I forgot to put you on the screen here. Whoops.
That's okay. Let me know.
Doing my thing back here, getting ready for the next segment while listening to you, and I forgot to put your chart up there. There we go. Now you're live there. Sorry about that.
No worries. So, it's really interesting with this chart, and the reason why is, Bitcoin is just kind of moseyingly, if that's even a word, coming down here, down into these lower levels. It's not necessarily selling off, but it's definitely some type of algorithmic trading, because you can see the stair stepping pop right here, another pop, a little bit of a pop, but it's like stair stepping down. So it's real interesting to see what's actually going on, and it's kind of similar to what we saw right here. So I'm kind of second guessing myself in this aspect of us maybe coming down to the 20,000, but again, we're not seeing a ton of volume in this area, and so that's why it's a bit peculiar.
What is that, a daily that you have up?
Yeah. Yep. It's a daily. Yeah, so you can see that it's just kind of in this range here between that 30,000 and that 25,000 area. And we've been here for almost a year now. Or excuse me, not a year. I don't know why I said a year. Almost 4 months, March, April, May, June, July, August. Wow, it's 5 months. So we've been playing in this range here for a while. It's going to be really interesting to see.
That blue line, is that just your trend line that you've drawn?
Yeah, it's just the trend line from the base here. This, I think it was drawn on the monthly chart. Or the weekly, that's what it was. No, maybe month. Yeah, it was the week, pardon me. Yeah, so it's drawn on the weekly here. And I'm just watching it as we come towards it. We'll find out if we find support in these levels. There are higher time frame SMAs, which is sitting at that weekly and that month. We have that 8 on the month on Bitcoin here sitting, which is sitting right here. In addition, we have that 20 on the month sitting right here, and then we have a few weekly moving averages also sitting in this area. So there is support here to hold, and there can be and there's algorithmic buying based off of what we're seeing right in the market, as well as the conglomeration of all of the moving averages. I would think with these this amount of moving averages, and on top of that, getting close to a support level here, I would assume we would start to see more buyers stepping in at these levels. This is a kind of a junctional turning point here. So again, the market is kind of just going sideways here. It's always kind of hard to gauge which direction it wants to go. I personally think it's not going to go anywhere until we see it come down to the 25 and then down to that 20,000 mark. Potentially, I keep talking about the 15 and that 10,000 area. So it's just one of these things that it's just ping pong back and forth. So that's what we're seeing with Bitcoin right now. Over the week, what we'll probably see, we did go up for, let me go into it. So on Sunday, you can see here that we basically kind of went sideways and then went down to go up, and now we're moving up. So at the beginning of the week, they haven't really hit any real supply area where sellers are sitting, unless we can talk about this area right here. This was the area. Go ahead.
Is that the little green in the past? I don't know how many days that is, week or 2 weeks. If you just where it turns up here in the past.
Right here.
What time frame is that? Just a week or so?
It's just a couple days. So we basically went sideways. We opened up on Sunday.
Yep.
Then we went down first to go up. But again, we're hitting that weekly 8 sitting right here, and we're hitting that 20 daily. And we are it pierced it. So it potentially could be pushing through. Bitcoin could be pushing through back up to that 30,000 mark area. But we're putting in a pretty big wick here, and still the beginning of the day. So we went up first, and typically when you see that, we then see it during the day session sell off. So based off its movement today of the sell off, it might continue down into these lower levels again of that 28,000 mark. So, it's like, trading is much like probability, right? Like you stack all the probabilities and you try to find that what's the word I want to use? The edge. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's large, and they're painting a very clear picture. Right now, to me, I feel like it's a slight edge to the downside. We don't have a lot of volume coming in. In addition to that, we're not seeing a lot of transactions happening in the midst of the volume, or excuse me, the amount of coming in with the low volume, right? So.
Gotcha. Well, what's going on this week? Any big news coming out? Any numbers? Anything that the market is expecting to be great or crappy?
Absolutely. So when it comes down to Thursday, so we have the rest of the week is kind of a lackluster report day. We'll go right into it right here real quick. So on Tuesday, which is today, is really nothing coming out. It's more or less setting up for... Give me 1 second for later in the week. So we have short-term energy outlook, which is basically for Wednesday. Wednesday sets things up for crude oil reports, setting things. So Wednesday in the morning, we'll have a crude oil report that will probably move quite a bit. But outside of that, there's really nothing coming in this week until we get to where are you at? And if you're wondering what website I'm at, investing.com, and just go to economic calendar, and you will be able to pull this stuff up. And this gives you indication of what's going on. So we have core CPI that's going to be happening on Thursday, as well as year over year CPI, and also month over month. So this is going to be really interesting. Also continuing jobless claims. This actually never really kicks in on this one right here. This isn't really that big of a, but yes, the CPI reports coming out, and then the initial jobless claims here for the 5:30. That's it in a nutshell for this week. And then on, if you're an overnight trader and you trade currencies, you want to be paying attention to the GDP for Great Britain. A lot of times that will move the markets for currency, as we see. That's end of quarter and year over year. Yep. So you can see here that's kicking in around.
All right, for those of those people tuning in here, all about 10 of them or so across the various channels we're on. What are the charts telling you for Friday? When they sell their positions out on a Friday, are they selling out where they went long and made some money, or are they selling out where they went short and made some money?
Yeah, so I think they're getting ready to set up for the short. We're already starting to see the candle come in for the day. So I believe they're going to be buying probably back. If we break through this area here, which is going to be the 28.5 mark, okay, that 28,500 area, where we have some higher time from SMA sitting here as well. If we break through this, which we've been playing ping pong between, like I said, the 30 and the 28, we break through, the next placement that we're going to go down to is that 27.7 area. So be ready for that bounce back on Friday. So if they do continue to sell off at this point, right, for the week, be ready to come in and to see them come in, pick up the buyers here, and then kind of push it back up. So I would say look forward to the sell-off to the week. But in conjunction with that, if we do decide to move up, okay, you want to be paying attention to that 30,000 and then that 31,000 area as well. And then either one, if we do decide to push up, we're going to blow through this area right here, that 30,000, and then most likely see a sell-off come in at that 30,800 area at the end of the week, where we would then see a push back down to about 30,000 instead of a 31,000. So these are just the turning points that we're seeing things happen. That's in a nutshell.
All right, Pedro. It's good to know that if all we have to do is listen to you, open up a few shorts, and by Friday we'll be rolling in the bucks, right? No, wait, hold on. Not listen to you. That's not what I meant. Strike that from the record. All we have to do is do our own research, of which you're just one tool.
Yes.
And listen to what you say the charts are telling us.
Yes.
And then make our own decisions based on everything we've learned.
Well, and I want to make sure we add this to this. Everything that I say here is for educational and as well as entertainment purposes only. I'm nothing special. I have been on a pretty good roll in saying most likely the directions of the market. But again, this is an educational property.
It's teaching you what to look for in the charts.
Yeah.
What you do with your own money is your own decision, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
so don't come calling to Striking and Pedro when you lose your shorts by getting rugged, scammed, and ripped off, or you just bet that the the interest rates were going to go up and the interest rates went down. People lose fortunes that way. Of course, they also make fortunes that way. That's why we're all here. Anyway, I'm going to go talk about my sponsor, Auditchain, here for a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Auditchain.
Most of you know that crypto exchanges have been taking a beating about transparency, and many groups out there are trying to solve that, but Auditchain has already done that. Auditchain's protocols and network of validators can mathematically prove that a company's entire financial state, not just proof of reserves, but a proof of state, and whether or not that company is providing accurate reporting and information to the respective government regulators and to the public. Seriously, you and I can check crypto companies and traditional companies' financial reports for transparency and accuracy using a logic and reasoning engine called Paxos that records its output where? On the blockchain. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, blockchain technology is now able to be used to check on traditional companies. Behind me is a list of companies that comprise the S&P 100. In essence, the largest U.S. companies by size. More than one quarter, 29 out of 100, have problems with their reports. Remember, accounting and other corporate systems are garbage in and garbage out. So if there are problems with the data out for these companies, in red here, what does that mean? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There are problems with the data going in. And this was figured out not by accounting or auditing firms and fleets of consultants. This was compiled and reported on by Auditchain's Paxos validating nodes and took only 5 minutes. It's revolutionary and it's a disruptor technology. Auditchain.
Ladies and gentlemen, Auditchain. Thank you very much to Jason Myers and the crew over at Auditchain. Go visit them at auditchain.finance. Hit up their Telegram for their official Auditchain channel in which you learn all about their software, or hit their the unofficial Auditchain trading one where you can talk about what's going on with the token they use for governance and gas for their project. As I always like to say, thank you to our sponsors and Auditchain for sponsoring, as I say, all of the original programming on the DYOR network. But Pedro, we've got some news here about PayPal. I've done shows about stablecoins in the past and the regulation of them and just why the government really cares so much about them. I don't understand why. But as we see institutions getting in the crypto game lately, they're jumping in so fast we can't even keep track of them. And PayPal launches a stable coin that says it's not going to be some algorithmic thing so they can cheat you out of your money or create a Ponzi or house of cards here. It's going to be a fully backed, regulated stable coin, backed 1-to-1 with U.S. dollars and also U.S. treasuries. And I hope, God forbid, I hope PayPal has a lot of cash, because if people take to that quickly, they'll have to put all of that money, every dollar that they use, I don't know. They're going to have to buy a lot of treasuries. That's what I'm saying, because they're going to need some of the money that people give them to make a stable coin, or to take money that's currently in PayPal and bring it out. But they're going to need a lot of money to do that. Making a stable coin in which you can just go from $0 to $1 billion pretty quickly takes $1 billion. And But anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting because all we've seen, Pedro, and you've listened to me bring this up, and you've talked about it also, is that the people want to regulate it to death, and certain parts of the U.S. government. Hold on, I'm guessing you. I doubt you can hear that. I was just playing the PayPal commercial here behind me. Oh, it won't even full screen. Those idiots. All right, never mind. But anyway, certain parts of the U.S. government are starting to warm up to crypto, namely the House Republican Party. And other parts of the government are not, namely the Democrats in the Senate. And we've seen Elizabeth Warren and so go after stablecoins, go after crypto and all that. What do you think? What do you think the U.S. government is going to think about one of the largest payment providers now saying, "Hey, we're building our own stablecoin"?
I mean, I don't think this will actually be a huge indication of the good old boy club of what I've been talking about, how they're trying to push the market down so that they can get in, right? This will be a big, because if we don't see any buck from Elizabeth Warren and a few of the other House of Representatives kicking in, if we don't see what's her name, Cortez step in and really wanting to just drop the hammer, it's going to be really interesting to see this, because then this gives me an indication, oh, they are trying to drop the market. Oh, they are, because this is I guess I would say this is as big as Mark Zuckerberg trying to do his cryptocurrency. Remember when he was trying to come on a few years ago, and they're like,
Yep.
"No, you're too big. You can't do that."
I know. They ripped him. He had to shut that down. They hauled his butt in front of Congress to testify.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big deal, and rightly so. I mean, I think if Zuckerberg would have created that coin, it would have probably crashed, because everybody would have just jumped on and said, "Okay, cool," and you would have used Facebook for transactions. I mean, it would have been a big deal because everybody could do it. Everybody around the world.
He definitely didn't launch that one correctly. He should have just started something small, saying, these are Facebook Marketplace points or something like that, and then just grown it into a Facebook stablecoin that you could use for payments, and it would have rocked. Because that's when everyone was using Facebook. Now it's it's mostly older people and all your friends from high school that you don't want to talk to anymore.
Pretty much. But what I find interesting is not necessarily even the aspect of them getting into it, right? Like I think everything in society is sooner or later going to be tokenization, right? But they created that stable coin to be able to interact, and it is clearly an affront. Yet they're using it to back itself by treasuries.
Right.
So it's almost like, what's wrong with you?
First, 777 Studios. We'll get to your question in just a minute, or your comment. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I guess I get to it now. On Twitch, we've got 777 Studios saying, "Just look at the people running this country into the ground. How do you think this is really going to go?" And 777, we like to stay out of the general politics, the political terms, and keep it focused into the financial aspect of crypto and all that type of stuff. But at this point, I'll agree with you. And they're running up the debt. They're giving us just policies that are just not good things. And we can talk. There's all sorts of political talk that we can have based on your partisan views that are for other channels. Because if I get into that, I'll have to fight the people off from Newsmax or something like that. But anyway, you're correct. If you've watched my show a lot, you've heard Pedro and I talk about the direction the U.S. government has been going in various dealings financially, and that's outside. The Fed is separate. The Fed does their own thing, but I'm talking about the U.S. government and spending money, raising the debt ceiling, just blowing cash and turning the money printer on. You hear me go.
Absolutely.
But you're right. You're talking about facts, and the facts are that the U.S. government has been blowing it financially lately, and there's no doubt about that. And it's my personal opinion, they've been blowing it in a whole sorts of other ways too. And but you're right, and I forgot where I was going with that. But the point is that if the government is currently, at least on this topic of finances, running things into the ground, if they try to stick their hands in the stablecoin market, they'll ruin it. And they're obviously trying to do that with some of the bills going through Congress to regulate them. I still don't, excuse me while I opine here, 777 and Pedro, I still don't know what right the government has to say that I can't value something at $1 and do that on a mass market scale. I mean, they come in and they say, oh, we have to regulate stable coins. I don't understand why I can't say I have 1 million of these cups of coffee and they're all worth $1, and have the government come in and say, oh, well, we have to regulate you because you're guaranteeing that's $1. It's probably a security. I mean, it's just a cup of coffee. It's worth $1, and I'm guaranteeing that it's going to be worth $1, so you can always trade it for $1. I don't understand why that's the government's purview to regulate that. I mean, if I was selling these as securities, saying, hey, it'll be worth $1.10 in a year, that's different. But if I just say it's always worth $1, you can always trade it worth $1. It's like corn. Like the farm co-ops trade corn back and forth all day, every day, and it drives me nuts. Anyway, sorry about the sidetrack there. But Pedro, I cut you off there.
No, it's all good. No, I was just saying that it's going to be really interesting to see that it is an affront to the dollar. But yeah, on the backside behind it, they are buying treasuries and they are propping up a lot of where China maybe is backing off, because we know that a lot of countries are no longer, and they're trying to step away from the actual dollar. Whereas if the U.S. government starts to allow business entities to go through, create their own stablecoin for an efficient market, right, of transaction, instead of using SWIFT around the world, by using that blockchain, you settle payments much quicker, and in additionally to that, it's a lot less, from an EG economic, what is that? Not economic, environmental.
ESG.
Yeah, ESG system. It puts less, energy out there, and so it's better for the environment at large. So there's a lot there sitting that the U.S. government, if they start to allow businesses, because obviously this is a test run for businesses, right? Like if you look at this, if this happens well and they nail it, other companies are going to start to get out there and start to tokenize and allow transaction fees to be quicker, right? So it's going to be a really, really interesting system as we move forward, and it's going to be really interesting to see the U.S. government weigh in on this. I'm shocked that they have. I'm shocked that the SEC hasn't stepped in and been like, no. and the other part is that, would they not have to have gone through the SEC to talk to them about this already if they were going to move forward?
No, because they're not selling a security here. They're just saying it's a stable coin. In their press release, it says that it's a fully regulated system. So I haven't heard. I got to tell you, I Googled around for it, and I didn't hear a peep through it about anywhere else. And if they had gone to the SEC, that would have been some kind of public information at some point. They are working with Paxos to issue the stablecoin. Everybody should remember that Paxos was the issuer of the original BUSD on Ethereum, which got in. I won't say it exactly right, but the SEC, or not the SEC, the New York Department of Financial Services was not at all in favor of, and they made Paxos and Binance bust up BUSD. And now, of course, everyone's issuing stable coins that conform or just stay out of the New York market. But they say it's fully regulated, and Paxos has gone down the road of saying, all right, we're only going to do things that are fully regulated. Their CEO, oh my God, I can't remember his name. Looks like Michael Phillips, the swimmer, has been making the rounds on the interview circuit. and saying, hey, we're trying to make sure that everything's legit. Now they're working with PayPal here. I would like to know what the behind the scenes tech is here. I mean, did PayPal hire Ripple to come in and put up a internal layer 2 blockchain for them that just ultimately settles to Ethereum? If anyone knows out there that's a listener, I'll just say all 412 of you. that's the keep the algorithm happy. But anyway, let me know, because I haven't been able to find out about it.
It's just really interesting. I think from PayPal is such a global business, right? Like Europe is definitely embracing the blockchain and crypto and regulating it correctly. I feel like, right? There's some, it's not perfect, but they're definitely putting certain things in, trying to really, kind of almost de-dollarize, right? That's their biggest strength, right, is being able to get off the dollar system and then allow them to be able to even create commerce and business in another industry, right? That would generate more cash and money and cash flow. To watch the US step back and not do much and to let the other world get ahead is so counterproductive. And so it's going to be really interesting to see as PayPal goes through and interacts with the United States as well as around the world. Is the US going to sit there and allow them to conduct business around the world and not in the US? It's going to be really, because they're a US based company. So it's not as if it's, they do have jurisdiction over it, at least in the parts of the US. Would they move their headquarters outside the US if they start to get heavy-handed, if the US government starts to get heavy-handed?
Good question. That always depends on how much money you're making, and is it worth it to move outside the US? Yeah. Always a good question there.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's my view on it. It's going to be really. To me, it's got almost like a hurry up, wait and see type of thing.
There's always hurry up and wait and see in just about everything you do in your life. Especially in crypto. Hurry up, let's get this thing done. Oh well, okay, that'll take 5 years.
Pretty much. I mean, my own project, man, sitting there, it's taking almost like 2.5, 3 years now, like almost 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
I got to tell you, I started a business once, and I determined in 2000, not once, I've started a couple of businesses, but one of them I said, it was 2004, and I said, I have to start this. If I want to do this right, I have to start my own company doing it. And it took me until 2008 to actually get started, get funding, and get all that. It took 4 years of pounding the pavement and making your pitch. And I remember when I went back in 2008 and talked to the people I'd recruited to come along with me, sorry about that. I just had a message that distracted me. People that come to me, and we went back and looked at my original pitches to people in 2004, 5, and 6, and I just shook my head. And we're like, oh my God, no wonder everyone thought we were idiots. Because we after refining your pitch so much over the years, you get your message better. You've listened, you've tweaked it. You've listened to feedback from people saying, why would you say that? That's the dumbest thing ever. And but it takes a long time. I'm involved in another one right now that I got involved with it in year 3, I think, and it's been a year now, so it's in year 4, and the people are anxious. They're like, hey, we need to get this thing going, and the people that are developing it are like, hey, this takes time, and they're like, yeah, time is money. We don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's...
So if in your own project, you got to think of it that way. You got to think time is money, and make sure you got more money than time.
Yeah, or just make sure you got cash flow, right? Like everything's about cash flow. So if you have cash flow coming in and leaving and going, right, that's So everything's about cash flow. 3 or 4 opportunities that are great, but if there's no cash flow in it, then that's what hurts more than anything. So more interesting.
Oh man, it's my business was a manufacturing business, and you're in the service business or digital or fintech. You're primarily your expenses are human expenses and people, and then you go into a business in which you need 4 or 5 times the capital just to buy the things that you need to use to make in order to sell your product. It's like you go to it's funny because manufacturing is kind of an old school business in these generations now, and you go to people and they look at the cash needed to run a manufacturing business, and you wonder how the economy ever even got started. I mean, because it's like, to run a business to pay 5 people, you need 5 times the salaries plus your expenses, subscription fees, tech fees, some server IT fees, that type of stuff. But then imagine a factory, machinery, buying raw material like steel and glass and even automobiles and that type of stuff. And it's oh yes, 777. Entrepreneur is a tough business. Don't worry, nobody cares about the spelling. It's the internet.
If anything, it'll get copied, and then that'll become the new spelling.
Yeah, no, it's 777 Studios just posted a comment, and he blew the word entrepreneurship, a word that pretty much nobody can spell anyway, while typing without an active spell checker. But yes, entrepreneurship is a tough business, and pretty much all of us in crypto are entrepreneurs. I mean, we're doing this whether you're doing crypto as a side gig or as your main gig. It's all entrepreneurship and trying to make it out for yourself here. I mean, there's probably say there's the industry is 1,000 people in it. It's got many more than that. But most people in crypto are solopreneurs out there doing it by themselves. Most people don't work for Binance or for Crypto.com or Paxos and things like that. Most people work for themselves. Most people are either day trading or strategically trading based on fundamentals and just trying to make it a go. Just trying to make it a go, and that's what PayPal is going to do to swing this back to the story of the day. Is that a while ago we noticed Wells Fargo getting in, and I mentioned this on the show, was that internally they were Wells Fargo they've been around a long time, and they're kind of their own bank, just not a retail bank, but they still had to settle transactions between their U.S. operations and foreign locations through country-specific intermediary banks. And it added time to things, and people could get their money instantly, not because because the system worked that fast. And say I wanted to send $500 to my family in Mexico City, they could get it within 10 minutes of me sending it from the U.S., but the money didn't go there that fast. Wells Fargo just had a pool of money there that they, on one side they noted sent money, and the other side they said, here, dispersed money. And behind the scenes in the great banking in Wells Fargo land, they settled everything up. And I was listening to a podcast about that, and they talked about how in the 170 years Wells Fargo's been around, they've never actually been able to settle and balance their accounts properly, down to the penny like you can. He said because it never works out, that the exchange rates and fee and all this kind of stuff and how the banks work. And it said there's always slippage in there in as the payment industry contracted in profits because more people got into it. They said, the money they were losing on little things here and there and not being able to balance their accounts exactly right, started eating into crypto or eating into their profits. So we saw them announce that they were going to start using blockchain technology to run their back-end systems and be able to settle transactions instantly. And so I said, if they're starting to use that, everyone's going to start using this for payment. And I guess I did that show in March or so. And now you've seen the discussions. I'm guessing that immediately PayPal. I'm on the Paxos website over here on another page here, and you can just click the button that says launch your own stablecoin. Click here to contact us. So we could have the Pedro coin. All you got to do is click that button and get in touch with Paxos.
Nah, I'm good. I'd call it, if anything, I'd call it the PGJ. But
The PGJ.
But then I actually looked up. I actually just threw that in, and it was real interesting. It's actually the ETF for the Chinese, like you know how we have our SPY. It's their SPY ETF for the Chinese indice at large. It was actually kind of. I was like, whoa. It was a trip.
All right, so I'm going through a few. I'm just trying to do a little extra research on this, going through this, and we have the announcement here that PayPal is. We're unveiling new stablecoin, PayPal, PYUSD. I just realized that's you could just say, you could abbreviate it really quickly by saying PUSD. PYUSD, PUSD, PUSD. It comes.
Pasty. We'll call it pasty.
Yeah, the YouTube algorithms are going to pick that one up as a swear word. But someone else puts here, hey, we've gone through the code and PayPal stablecoin can be frozen.
Really?
I don't, that's a Twitter post, as they say, or an X post now. But look, they post the code here. Freeze and unfreeze. Well, I have to say that yeah, if you're launching your own stablecoin, and in the world of smart contracts, things get frozen. At this point, having the ability to just stop trading in it is a good thing. Whether or not there's the ability to just freeze it, freeze you out, and then take everyone's money and run for the hills, that's a different topic. But this is PayPal. It's a real corporation. They have insurance, corporate insurance, and if your money goes missing, you can sue them under normal common law or normal law in almost every jurisdiction of the world. That works, because that's how corporations work. That's why it's okay for corporations to do this, because they have a long history of being properly insured. But if it's something where they can just, freeze specific people, then we start getting into blacklists and then what's the word I'm looking for? Someone help me out here. Thanks 777 Studios for watching. Appreciate it. It's got to run. That was we had some Twitch viewers today, which I'm very happy about. But as I was saying, if the people can blacklist individual wallets and flag them easily for not trading, kind of like exchanges do for their accounts and things like that. Then you get into the ability of other people saying, well, you have to blacklist everybody until they're verified, until they have a full KYC, full AML, and that type of stuff, and you can't even interact with the wallet. And that's what some people are pushing for. They're pushing for that everything is permissioned, where every wallet address has a legal ID, like this WorldCoin thing, and so that basically every wallet can be attributed to a human being and a person to fully track everything, which is totally not the point of finance. Finance should not have everything tracked, should not be available for public review. You should be able to do things privately, and the whole world should not worry about anti-money laundering laws. Anti-money laundering laws should be at the $1 million, $10 million thing, things that drug cartels move around in. They shouldn't be at the $10,000 and $5,000 level, or even now at $600 level. Yeah, 600.
It's
ridiculous.
Like I said, yeah, and the government knows, and they're almost playing like the kid who lies right to your face, and he's just hoping that the absurdity of his lie people will just ignore, and everybody knows it, yet he still holds on to his blatant lie, saying, no, this is right. It's almost like that. It's almost like they know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. Yet like nothing's being called to and it's almost like they're the big bully too, because if you push hard enough about this, they'll just come after you. So it's
exactly.
It's like, who wants to take that battle on?
Here, speaking of the battle, in the backdrop behind me, I got an article. Kenya raided the WorldCoin warehouse in Nairobi the other day, claiming that it failed to disclose its intentions when it registered in Kenya. Nairobi police, blah, 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 raided a WorldCoin warehouse. Police officers seized documents and machines and were sent to the Director of Criminal Investigations for examination. So now everyone has registered their retina in Nairobi. Now all that information was just sent to the police there. So
how easily?
I brought that up only because we were talking about the different governments not liking certain types of things, and apparently the Kenyan government did not like this type of thing.
Well, the WorldCoin, I mean, that's and a lot of third world countries were the ones, I think they got up to 3 mil. I have to check real quick. WorldCoin, worldcoin.org. Let me see how many people have signed up so far.
It's got to be a lot.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 World ID sign ups. So it's been 2,200,000. It looks like they're getting one every second. Maybe a little bit faster than I'm on their website here. So the first day.
Just looking at it, I don't even know where. If I wanted to do that, where I would go do it. I guess I have to. I've heard nothing about it here in Chicago.
I think it's in New York and LA. Like there's places here that we can look. Yeah, here's the map of where we could go.
Oh, sorry, I don't have you up here. 1 second. All right.
So you can see here that you have, one looks like in New York, one down in Florida, one in LA, and one in maybe San Francisco.
Oh, that's why I haven't heard about it. There's not one in Chicago. You'd think there would be. We have a massive crypto hub here. We've got Google here. We had FTX was here. I mean, their main headquarters, like operational headquarters, was here.
I don't think it would be here, and the only reason why is because, I don't see crypto junkies. I mean, people like us, right, that would sign up. I mean, we don't agree. I don't agree with this.
I don't agree with it at all. We should, like I said, our affairs should be private. It's even in our U.S. Constitution that we have the right to be safe in our affairs from our government and stuff like that. And we all know that everyone's retina scan and all that information with their wallet is just one subpoena away. And it's not even like a big effort in the U.S. government or a major scandal. The freaking DEA could just say, we're going to subpoena all those things just looking for bad stuff, and they'll get it. They'll get all that information, and or the IRS will, or things like that. And not that I care about the IRS getting things, because I don't have much of a pot to piss in regarding that, but I pay my taxes. But the point is that things can go wrong with that. They can find information. Someone can transpose a number. They can look, this wallet is getting all this money from here, and they're not declaring it. But someone transposed a 1 and an L, and next thing you know, that the Criminal Investigation Division is busting down your door, and all because of a fishing expedition. Anyway, that's for another show. Pedro, I only got a few minutes left. Anything else you want to mention today on the show here? I've got a 10 o'clock or a top of the hour hard stop here.
No, I think that's about it, man. It's just real interesting to see what's going to happen with PayPal, U.S. government, Senator Warren. Also, just watching how it goes throughout the world. I think one thing we do need to be paying attention to is as we keep moving forward in the actual crypto world, paying attention to the tokenization of traditional finances, right? As well as the tokenization of just real world assets. Start paying attention to that, start looking at that, because that is coming. And this is just a clear sign that it's moving forward. So. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yes, sir. All right. Bye. Bye.